Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa namine Ora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa namine Ora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa namine Ora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa namine Ora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayana
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupa Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupa Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Jaya Jaya Shiva Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Shiva Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Vasade Gauranga Vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Vasade Gauranga Vrinda
Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana
Hari Bol Krishna
Gopala Govinda Rama
Hari Bol Krishna
Madana Mohana
Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana
Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana
Hari Bol Krishna
Gopala Govinda Rama
Hari Bol Krishna
Madana Mohana
Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana
Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana 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 Mohana. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Shiva Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Shiva Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya
So let's continue our study program, what we have discussed yesterday. I'll read it again, and we will discuss this in connection with the narrative of the pastimes of the resident of Vrindavan, especially the maidservant of Lord Krishna, the associates of Radharani, the gopis of Vrindavan. So we can see how, if we follow this process, we can be in a state of meditation that will give us connection with the will and pleasure of the God, the Supreme Person. The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time 24 hours a day in a nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind in the way one should reside in Braja, Goloka, Vrindavan, and serve Krishna under the guidance of the devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of Lord beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service. So previously in our discussion, in our study program, we were given the 9 process of devotional service in practice. It begins with hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, surrendering to the Lord, worshiping the deity, and we'll discuss more about it, but the focus is how we can be directing the mind. So it means the body that we have, that we are in now, can be directed towards the goal to achieve success through the 9 process of devotional service and also the process of meditation upon the holy names of God. A certain activity leads to a certain consciousness, and a certain consciousness leads to a certain activity. So if our activity is based upon the transcendental wisdom, the wisdom, knowing about our true transcendental nature, our true function and activities, understanding that, and now we act upon the wisdom, apply the wisdom in our life, meaning the body that we have, which has been the cause of suffering, and the mind directing us towards being engrossed in this body because of the desire in the mind, can be now redirected. We can be now master of our senses because we can direct the mind not by our own power, but rather from the activities that is given to us by Krsna himself, especially the instructing spiritual master, to guide us, to achieve, to cultivate affection and love for the Supreme Person. The reason we're suffering because the affection and love we have is centered around us. We are the center. And this body, we use it to squeeze happiness. And the body, being a different energy from us, will never give us satisfaction. Because the body is connected with all the laws of suffering to remind us that we are separated from the Supreme Person. And if we try to do so, and try to pursue that goal, we will experience all the pain that we see in this world. Misery is caused by birth. You think to be born, to be inside the womb for 9 months. Krsna arranged it. You cannot remember that you were once in the womb. You cannot even sit down here for even 2 minutes or 3 minutes without moving and focusing your mind and directing it to listen. You cannot even do that. Why? Because we are so conditioned to following the mind. And it's so powerful, the 3 modes of material nature, that has been our focus for enjoyment, for happiness and security. Motivates, pushes us, pushes the mind, and we identify with the mind. We go for it. That even though we're sitting here, it's very hard to control the mind. So the perfection or to achieve success, we must be able to direct the mind. The mind should become our friend. And we must understand that the reason we are having a hard time because we are servant of the mind and the body, the senses. We are servant of matter. We are materialists. We identify with the body and in pursuance of happiness, not in harmony with our true nature, we suffer. We are cut off from the source of happiness. We are cut off from the source of joy because we are not in harmony with the cause of all causes. We try to imitate God. We try to play God, surrogate God, to enjoy, try to impulse ego thinking, I'm the controller, but because we're not self-sufficient, we're not in control, everything, it's like spitting against the wind, will never succeed. Because we are trying very hard to be in harmony with what is not our true nature. Life, we, active by nature, trying to find shelter in inanimate, mutable matter. And the reason we are having a hard time because we cling and embrace this body as my body, I'm the body. So the first stage of moving forward in the right direction is to come in contact with the wisdom coming from God, teaching us about our true nature. So, why do we practice the chanting, the offering, and everything? Because this body should be a medium, the temple of God. We must receive God through the senses. Because we have these senses, we can hear, we can see through the eye. But all of God's mercy can be understood. The deity, the worship, the smelling, and everything that the senses have been so much attached to previously can be redirected now that will be the focus of our happiness and eternal longing for God be satisfied when we use this body that belongs to God and see it as a vehicle, now receiving God, making a temple of God. So now, with this process, the mind becomes purified because we begin to see, oh, I can use this body. And the mind begins to be our friend and be directed upon what we're longing for, the source of joy and happiness. And if we follow that, then we will succeed. But if we follow what is contrary to that, as what we have experienced in this world of pain and suffering, it's all connected with identification of the body and pursuance of happiness and security connected with this body. Every day I sit down there, I see people passing by there. They're following someone who left the body because I see all the forlorn passing by and all the people following the forlorn, Where will they go? Bring the dead to their, where they can be sheltered, the cemetery. And everybody's there. And illusion is very strong. They're thinking, oh, he died, she's so young, and they follow. You know why they do that? Why they do that? They condolence, because here in Kibawe, there are people here, wherever there's somebody who leaves the body, they go there. Because they're afraid that if they die, they leave the body, nobody will go to the, wait and be with there. They're thinking, I'm all alone and nobody will be there playing, tong eats and everything and gambling in front of you, drinking, And they feel, wow, I'm alone. And if that's happened, at least when I go to this wake, people will see, oh, she's there. When she leaves the body or she dies, we'll also go there and bring flowers, bring coffee and play tongits or poker. So my point is this. A certain activity leads to a certain consciousness. So if we're intelligent, you ask this question, why am I suffering? Why do I have experienced death? Why am I empty? And why am I not really satisfied and happy and feeling all this insecurity in my heart, this longing for a person I can take shelter? And you look at all those successful people who have made progress. And you're thinking, wow, they're progressive. And our educational system is based upon materialism. It's all about economic development. The more, they have the saying, he who owns the gold has the power to control. So everybody wants wealth so they can enjoy. But spiritual life is completely a different world. It's contrary to that. Whatever facilities we have, we may not be very wealthy, but we have this wealth that is inseparable from us. The ability to love, activity that is connected with the soul, always active. Not only that, we are given this opportunity to have this human form of life. And this body, it belongs to God. And if I use this body and direct everything according to the direction, the scientific method of the 9 process of devotional service, wherein I can be meditating upon offering everything to the person who owns everything. I can be focusing my mind, my heart, to someone who's eternal, transcendental, beyond this world, but coming to this world to give us connection, and that connection is where we can give our life, our heart, and be sheltered. Then we can be focused because the mind becomes our friend. And what will happen if we are so much in meditation, the mind becomes purified. The desire now is completely purified, that it is simply focused upon doing the will of God. Everything you do, the moment you wake up, everything, even at the time of sleep, everything is connected with loving remembrance of being amiable and in harmony with what is pleasing to God and the source of happiness. That is samadhi or meditation that is continual. But in the beginning, when you come in contact with this process, because so many desires, innumerable desires, our situation does not warrant to have this continuous, meditation. You have to work and take care of this body, You have to deal with so many people. But by the mercy of Lord Krishna, it can be achieved. And I'll read the pastimes of the gopis in Vrindavan, how they achieve success. It is loving remembrance, which is samadhi or transcendental meditation in loving remembrance of the Supreme Person and not touched by this world, that gives a person connection with the source of happiness. He sees differently now. He gives him a higher taste, that he's not moved by the offer of this world of security, happiness. He knows what it is. He is with wisdom, and he acts upon that wisdom. So the spiritual master is teacher by example. He teaches us this wisdom. He lives the life of loving service, pure devotional service. And that is the life of the Son of God. He teaches loving the Father. But if you can see his whole life centered around applying the wisdom that is eternal, and it's connected with the Supreme Person, the Father. So it's a science we must learn. So what is the science that we can understand that entangles us? The person, you, here in this material world, sense perception. You begin to see. And if you don't have the wisdom about the self, about the true nature of the soul, sense perception, and you begin to contemplate, meaning you begin to imagine, contemplate, anticipating, imagining that it will give you happiness, and you go for it. While you're doing that, you're in anxiety. What if I can get it? What happened? What do I do? It's all about worry. You have nervous breakdown. You so much stress because in anticipation, what if I don't get it? Then when you get it, you're in anxiety now because you know sooner or later you're going to leave everything behind. And that is your security. And when you get separated from it, you experience the source of security and joy that you're thinking falsely that will give you happiness, and you're clinging to that, is gone. No more life, suffering. So that is the meditation that we do every day in this material world, under the influence of material nature. To become free from that, follow this process. So I'll read the pastimes of the residents of Vrindavan, the song of the gopis. Let's always be direct. Turn around the bush, Time is moving so fast. The goal of life is to be connected, to be pleasing to God, to do the will of God. Other than that, everything is irrelevant. So the spiritual master, the devotees, they know our situation. They know how we are so weak, how that we're struggling, to be taking shelter, to be looking for real shelter. And they come to assist us, hold our hand. They bring this boat. They guide us, the captain, the spiritual master. He makes a stand to stay with us. Not only that, he gives us the wisdom. He teaches us so we can be connected in continuity, that our spiritual life or our relationship with God, with the source of energy and our love is sustainable. It's not dependent upon joining a certain group. It's not depending upon someone who is conditioned in this material world. It's not upon being directed by the mind, but rather taking shelter of that to be in harmony with the will of God. And it is sustainable through the process that they are giving us, because the contemplation, the meditation will be focused upon doing the will of God. Meaning our body, everything becomes directed one-pointedly in the right direction, which is our true eternal nature as eternally the loving servant of God. To be entering that world that is transcendental to this material world. While we are in this world, we can be transcendentally in this relationship with God. While working as a teacher, working as a mother, any activities we do. Because now we understand, I belong to God, this body belongs to God. I should use this in meditation. I should use this and take this opportunity to connect myself in offering everything to God. So when we talk about spiritual life, it's not, what they say, blessed are the poor, for they will enter the kingdom of God. So we're thinking all the hobos, all the beggars will go to the kingdom of God. What is poor? Someone who is not in this lordship mentality, who is not a rich man. What is a rich man? A rich man is someone who thinks he owns. Because we are hearing from someone who has no spiritual understanding, who's under the control of material nature, whose mind and activities is based upon material consideration about himself. So we should be very focused in following someone who can guide us, who can protect us with transcendental wisdom. And not only that, he lives the life of that wisdom. Whatever he says, he lives it. He does not serve two masters. His only master is pleasing God, doing the will of God. Like here in the Philippines, we are always being told, di ka pwede magbangka sa dalawang ilog. You cannot serve two masters at the same time. So it's about harmony. And in this case, harmony with the transcendental relationship of loving the Supreme Person, doing His will. That will be the success of our life, because we will be reinstated in our true eternal position and function. And not only that, we will be engaging in activities that is very fulfilling. And meditation is samadhi, because every day we'll be remembering the source of joy, the source of happiness, our eternal friend. And if there's lull, we get disturbed and we always think of Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Our life becomes focused upon the transcendental world of devotional service. Songs of the Gopis. 3 pages. One gopi said, "My dear Krishna, ever since you took birth in this land of Brajabhumi, everything appears to be glorious. The land of Vrindavan has become glorious, and it is as if the goddess of fortune is personally always existing here. But it is only we who are very unhappy, because we are searching for you, but cannot see you with our greatest effort. Our life is completely dependent upon you. Therefore, we request that you again come to us." Another gopi said, "My dear Krishna, you are the life and soul of even the lotus flower that grows on the water of lakes and made transparent by the clear rain of autumn. Although the lotus flower are so beautiful, without your glance they fade away. Similarly, without you, we are also dying. Actually, we are neither your wives nor slaves. You never spend any money for us, yet we are simply attracted by your glance. Now if we die without receiving your glance, you'll be responsible for our deaths. Certainly the killing of woman is a great sin. If you do not come to see us, we die. You will suffer the reaction of sin. So please come see us. Do not think that one can be killed only by certain weapons. We are being killed by your absence. You should consider how you are responsible for killing women. We are always grateful to you because you have protected us many times from the poisonous water of Jamuna, from the serpent Kaliya, from Bakasura, from the anger of Indra and his torrents of rain, from the forest fire and so many other incidents. You are the greatest and most powerful of all. It is wonderful for you to protect us from so many dangers, but we are surprised that you are neglecting us at this moment. Dear Krishna, dear friend, we know very well that you are not actually the son of Mother Yasoda or the coward man Nanda Maharaj. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the super soul of all living entities. You have out of your own causeless mercy appeared in this world, requested by Lord Brahma for the protection of the world. So if you study scripture under the guidance of our instructing spiritual master, the Supreme Lord appears in different yugas. From the Golden Age, Silver Age, Copper Age, Iron Age, He appears. So Dwarpa Yuga, He appeared as Lord Krishna 5,000 years ago, and Lord Chaitanya, who is none other than the Supreme Person, appeared 500 years ago. It is all described since time immemorial, the pastimes of the Supreme Person, what place He will appear, who will be His father, and the symptoms of someone, the sign that is the Supreme Person, and His purpose in coming. So when Lord Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, He came here to establish religion. The teaching is that surrender unto me and I'll protect you. So Lord Chaitanya, Krishna, the Supreme Person, comes here in the mood of Radha and Krishna. The spiritual master, Krishna, appears as a devotee to teach us how to love God. The perfect teacher, the supreme enjoyer. He comes as giving us a process to be remembering God because we have been so focused in this world remembering matter every day in our contemplation, in our meditation, and He loves us. He comes here to give us the science of loving remembrance through the chanting of the holy names. It's like we want to enter relationship with God. We don't know how. If we use the mind, it's very hard. So by the process of meditation, we can enter that world. And Lord Chaitanya, who is like the supreme baker, all of us outside of this, have you seen all those people, especially this Christmas? You go there at this Dunkin' Donut and every food stuff there, the baker is there. They're all looking at the window, the good job are always looking there, The beggars are always there. And your Lord Chaitanya opened the door. Okay, come in. Taste all the food you want. The bakery is open. The transcendental bakery. You can taste whatever you want. You want pistachio nut cake. You want sherbet. Everything you want. And that is the world of Krishna's magnanimity, compassion upon us. He wants us to love Him. So He opens the door. Because He loves our love. Because that is our natural world. Loving and serving God. And now, we can see the reason we are cut off because we have been taught in this material world, our educational system, love yourself, please yourself. You're the center of the universe. Live the life. What life? Live the life of death. So you can see how the science of love for God is based upon compassion and care. He loves us. It's not about retribution. In love, there is no fear. That's why the devotee is feeling we must be in the stage that Lord Chaitanya wanted us so we can take shelter of God. And what is that stage? One can chant the holy names of the Lord in a humble state of mind. feeling himself lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. So we can see it in ourselves if we're making progress. If you hate others, you're angry at others, actually you're angry at God, because everybody's a child of God. If we can only see how in our lives we have done so many horrible things and we are trying to keep that skeleton in the closet. We have issues. But Krishna, the Supreme Person, loves us. He knows our predicament, that we are drowning in this ocean. So He comes to pick us up. He loves us. It's not that to be loved, you must show how great you are. No. It is about the humbleness. To be situated in this humbleness. My Lord, it is my nature, inseparable from me, to experience service and love. And for so long, I've been so selfish. I'm so weird, sinful. They are coming to me as the holy names, telling me I can love you. I'll just take shelter and beg for your mercy. Please pick me up from this ocean of birth and death. But if you are following the mind, you'll be so arrogant, You will be trying to perpetuate your control, The mind will tell you, no. You are the master. So that is the process, meditating upon the Supreme Purifier, the holy names. So we stop here and continue that next week because time is running out, and you can be with us again on Monday to continue this meditation and understanding of the science, so we can use this body to be in Vrindavan, this body as a temple of God. To purify this body, in a truer sense, what has been contaminated and covered us, our consciousness has become so adulterated with materialism under the influence of the three modes of material nature. Everything can be used in harmony to please God. The ability you have as a mother, you can have a child to raise him to God consciousness. You can be a teacher teaching science of economics, but be an example of someone who is directing his life serving God. So we can see if we're making progress, because our heart, our mind will be, where will your mind go? Where your heart is, whom you're attached. Where your heart is, that's where your mind will go. And we're given advice. Be careful that there are laws here. At whatever state of mind you remember at the time of death, that state you will attain. So if your life is based upon this engrossment of trying to focus and meditate upon this temporary world, naturally at the time of death, your mind will be focused upon this world. And in anxiety, your desires that is embedded in the mind has not yet been fulfilled. You'll be thinking about that, whom you're attached, what your plan is and everything. Then there are 8,400,000 species of life, and there's the law of karma, and Krishna tells you, good and bad. You're gonna experience the result because you're responsible for your action. So we must become responsible. We must make this commitment, because if we want to love someone, we must become responsible. We must make a stand to sacrifice, engage in austerity, to be trustworthy. And in this case, although we have negated, we have discarded, we abhor, we're separated from someone who loves us eternally, he comes to us, waiting for us. And he's not seeing our faults. What he wants is that we should be in harmony with that transcendental pleasure of God, love for God. His will, so we can be happy in His pleasure of offering our love to Him. That is the science of Bhakti Yoga. That is the teaching of Lord Jesus Christ and all the saintly person. It's not about doing this pretzel thing, you know. It's not about economics. It's not about capitalism, communism, philanthropism. It's nothing to do about social problems and everything. It's about our true transcendental nature. And time is running out because you're in this body now. You look, what are you meditating? Because at the time of death, whatever is in your heart, that will be what you're thinking. And there will be consequence because we are under the laws of material nature. No matter how you kick, how you struggle, how to whistle out, you know, no matter how you try to worm it, running away from God, because the laws are there and we are under the laws because we're not all powerful. So be in harmony with what is transcendental, the will and love of God. So that is a choice you can make. So if you have any problems in your life, just look. What am I thinking? What am I focusing? You're always focusing on the problem, your body. Why not look at Krishna? You look at Krishna, you know, then you forget about everything about this miserable world. Because your heart will be there, your mind will be there. Krishna will embrace you. Haribol Namaste.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Pura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Pura Karuna Swarupaya
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya
Bhaji Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda
Gopala Govinda Rama
Hari Bol Krishna
Madana Mohana
Hari Bol Krishna
Gopala Govinda Rama
Hari Bol Krishna
Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Paramahamsa,
Jaya Jaya Shiva Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Shiva Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prasthaya Te